Hello everyone and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. I have a real treat for you guys today. This is Sword and Sorcery. Oh my goodness, is this a fun game. This is a dungeon delver. It is similar to Galaxy Defenders. The individuals that made Galaxy Defenders, they also designed this game, except for it's in a fantasy setting. I much prefer the fantasy setting, so I am loving this game. It is a campaign, and I'm going to ask you guys to put in the comments below if you'd like to see the full campaign of Sword and Sorcery. So once a month, I would be doing one Sword and Sorcery, I would do one Widower's Wood, and I'd do my top 10 of some sort of either something relating to co-op or solo. Those are kind of what I'm thinking of doing as my consistent videos. Curious what you guys think about it. Let me know in the comments because this looks epic. And here's the thing. We're going to do the prologue. And there are a little bit of spoilers. So if you're thinking of playing this on your own and you don't want any spoilers, I would suggest only watching this setup video. The setup video really isn't going to do any spoilers because you'll read the story at the beginning and you have to set up the game just like I'm doing. But if you don't want any spoilers, don't watch this. But if you do, and you're okay watching the game progress and see the heroes level up, hang out because we're going to have some fun. So just like normal, this will be a setup video, and we're going to go through the heroes because I'm using 3 out of the 17 available. Yes, 17. I think that's the right number. There's a ton. So we're going to go through the heroes, we're going to go through the setup, we're going to read the story, and that's what this video is. The next video, we're going to do the actual playthrough. And in this video, if you want to skip the story part, I'll have a link or a timestamp in the description, and that will tell you when you can jump or show you where to jump so you can ignore the story part. Let's get going. Prologue. In the middle of the night, a mystical event recalls the souls of the ancient heroes to the land of Talon's coast. Their eyes still see the world as ethereal, veiled with a white mist. An invisible force leads the heroes to a specific point, a city not far from Havenshine's monastery, their current location. Still shaken and weak from the resurrection ritual, they start the journey when the voice of the High Cleric echoes in their minds. All praise the 3 gods for this. The spell succeeded! Quickly, come closer to the altar. Gather the weapons I left and reach the main aisle in the cathedral. We are in peril. What we have here is if we do this as a standalone quest, it tells you how many soul points each character should have. Crown, or not each character, but the entire group. Soul points, crowns, treasures, and soul weapons. 0 because this is the prologue. But that doesn't matter for us because we're playing the campaign. We also need to set up the enemy deck. And we're going to have 2 green gremlin cards and 2 blue gremlin cards. And we're going to shuffle these 2 up and create the enemy deck. Now it doesn't say this on here, but you'll also want to grab the 2 enemy scrolls because that's going to give you their AI, which shows you how they're going to attack, how they're going to move, all their special abilities, their different attacks, if they negate any armor or whatnot. So you'll also want to grab the 2 scrolls for the 2 different types of gremlins. Here we have how to set up the event deck. This is our timer. If this ever depletes, we lose the game. So we are supposed to shuffle 8 and 11 together. So I've got 8 and 11 here. I'll just shuffle these 2 up. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Yeah, I have no idea which one is. Then 18 can go right on top of that. Followed by 6 and 9. Oh, shuffle, 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 shuffle. Followed by 14, which will go on top. And then lastly, 5 is actually out in play. 5 is a specific type of event card that will stay out in play until another event makes us discard it, and it is the Knight. So it says here, read and apply the Knight event effects described in the storybook, and you can ignore this part because it's not going to have an effect in this playthrough. Down here it's going to tell us where some special locations for story event cards. So story event 1 and story event 2 are going to be located on the map, and then shuffle waypoints 3 and 4 and place them face down in locations A and B. So I have them here. Here's 3 and 4. I'm going to flip these over and give them a shuffle, and then we'll place them in locations A and B. Lastly, and probably the most important, is this special quest rule area. So first of all, normally in between every quest, you can go to the Emporium and purchase weapons. Well, we can't do that because we were just resurrected, so we cannot do that. Day events, there's going to be no additional effect. So that's good to know. When the day happens, I'll explain what that means. The night, so that's that event card that's in play right away. It says, during the night, each attack performed by the heroes causes -1, and then it looks kind of, I don't even know what to call that, but that's a hit damage, so you're doing -1 hit. So the heroes are going to have -1 hit until we can get through the night and go back to the day. And then our quest fail, we have, the quest fails if the last event card is discarded or all heroes are ghost souls. And then we would read this paragraph. What we have on page 2 is the map setup and where all these locations of certain tokens will be. So remember what we were going to put those waypoints 3 and 4 on A and B, but we won't know which one is which. So we'll all be placing those there. They also have all the different tokens you need. Now I've got all these tokens already out except for the shadow tokens and the story event cards. So there's these story event cards right here, and we have to place them on this spot, and where's the other one? This spot. So we'll put story event 1 and story event 2 here and here, and then we'll read through the Book of Secrets what happens at that point. The next thing to set up is the shadow tokens. Now these shadow tokens are all dependent upon how many players you're playing with. We're playing with 3 characters, so we're going to be in the 2+ but not the 4+. So because of that, we're going to have 5 shadow tokens out during the game, but down here, this is going to show you how many tokens of which type we're going to have, and we're going to shuffle them up and randomly put them on the board. That means every time you play this, you don't know which enemies are going to show up at which point. So we'll have 1 citizen shadow, and what that means is if we flip that, they just run away and it ends up not being an enemy. Then we have 4 regular enemy shadow tokens, and that would just spawn a solo single enemy. And then the worst one, 2 enemies. We have 1 token that will spawn 2 enemies. So we're going to take all of these, shuffle them up, and then randomly place them on the board in the locations on the map that they show on the map. And like I said, there's 6 tokens here. We're only going to have 5, so one of them won't even be out there, and we won't know which one it is. Last but not least, this is showing you what to read at specific points within the Book of Secrets when we get to those specific locations. Here we go, we've set up the board, so we have waypoint 1 over here, waypoint 2 over here, 3 or 4 in these 2 locations. We've got 2 shadow tokens here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. We have a hero respawn area over here. We have an enemy spawn area active over here, and an enemy spawn area inactive over here. We have our event 1, story event card 1 here, and our story event 2 card here. And then we have doors. So these doors, ones that are arched, are not locked and they are a free action to open, versus doors that look like, oh, I moved them, sorry. Doors that are square over here, these are locked and you actually have to bash them open with an action. So in this room we've got a treasure, but it's locked. So we're gonna have to knock over this door to get in there if we want. And of course we want to, we'll just see if I can. Before we jump into the playthrough, let's look at each hero in a little bit of detail, just so you guys can see. Here we have Icarus. He is my favorite hero. We're using the lawful side of his character sheet, so he would have a lawful and a chaos side, but we're going to have all of our heroes be lawful. And he has an awesome effect called Taunt. And this icon means it's a reaction. So you can do it as a reaction to enemy movement, or a reaction to anything really, instead of it having to take an action to use it. And it says here, once per round, you become the preferred victim of a target enemy until the end of its activation. Really helpful. This is telling you the type of hero that he is. He can only hold items that have that icon or a star icon, which means that anybody can hold it. He has a backpack worth of 2, so he can hold 2 items. If ever he goes through a trap, or there are some other events that happen where you have to do a save, he's trying to roll a star on a blue die, and he can move at a movement of 3. So he can move up to 3 rooms as long as there's no hindrances or whatnot. Up here we have the Soul Shard, and what this shows you is a lot of things. First, it shows you what your level is. Well, he's a level 1. Then over here tells the health, he's at 6 health. Then you have 3 different types of things over here to keep track of. One is the amount of power cards you can have. He can have 1 power card, and that's what his Mighty Presence is over here. He also can take 1 action at any time during his turn. So even during movement, he can stop and do an action and then continue movement. Or he can do it to affect his combat. And he has 1 combat action. So 1 combat, 1 regular action, and 1 power. And his power here is, unless he is knocked over, that's what KOs mean. And it's kind of weird, because when I think of KO, I think knocked out, but it's knocked over. So your miniature is knocked over like this. That's what a KO means. But unless he is KO'd, you count as 2 figures for controlling or dominating your area, which is awesome, because a lot of times, if we dominate a room, we get +1 hit. So that is really nice. He's basically considered 2 figures because, you know, he's got that awesome looking shield. This is when I wish I could paint. Oh my gosh, I wish I could paint. But, okay, so he starts with no weapons because at the beginning of the game, you don't have anything. You didn't go to the Emporium. You're going to have to take an action at the beginning of the game to pick up items from the stash. So right now, no weapons. Welcome to Ariel. This is our sorceress. Once again, she's on the lawful side. She would be an enchantress if she was on the chaos side. Her ability is, before any hit or defense dice, you can choose to roll 1 die less to obtain an extra star result. And this icon means that it's always available. It's continuous. She doesn't have to do any activation. She's of the magic type, and she can hold 2 things in her backpack. Her save is actually a hit on the blue dice, and she can have a movement of 3. Her soul shard up here, she's a level 1. She only has 4 health. She has 1 combat action, 1 regular action, but 2 powers. She starts with 2, which is perfect because her powers are spells. She's got the Thunder Lord spell and the Ice Manipulator spell. And she can use these, and during the playthrough, we'll see how these work. Also, something I forgot to tell you about with Icarus, each character has this little gem right here, and because anybody can go during this turn, you don't have to go in a specific order. After your activation, you're just supposed to flip this right on over to say you have had your turn, so you don't forget that you went on the round, because sometimes rounds can take a little bit longer, just depending on what happens. So that helps you remember, oh yeah, I already went. Here we have Thorgar, our cleric, and he is of a faith type. His backpack, he can hold 3. His save is also the star, and he has 3 movement. For his soul shard, he also has 6 health. He has 1 combat action, 1 regular action, and 1 power. His 1 power here is heal wounds, which is really nice. He can heal 2 HP for someone, which is awesome. And then his continuous effect, and if you can see over here, there's this little bracket area. That tells you the range that he can use it. So his range is 3. Once per round, target hero can roll up to 1 die per soul rank divided by 2. And you always round up in this game. So what that means is he's a soul rank of 1. Divided by 2 is 0.5, round that up to 1. So he can let a target hero, including himself, that's up to 3 spaces away, reroll 1 die once per round. Pretty sweet. We'll have each hero set their miniature in this room, and they are ready to go. Are you guys ready for this adventure? Because I am. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I just want to do a quick call out to Kevin. Kevin and I have been going back and forth on BGG. He's been helping me out like crazy with the rules. So hopefully I'm going to get most of the rules right. The thing about this game is it is a little bit rule heavy, just with a lot of minuscule rules, small little things. So I might miss things here or there. Please let me know. I will definitely make subtitles. So make sure when you're watching this, put on the Klingon subtitles, and you'll see if I made any errors. I'll make sure to put that there. But yeah, thank you so much, Kevin. He helped me pick out these heroes. And he also helped me with some of the rules. So I really appreciate it. It's going to make this playthrough even that much better. Thank you guys, and have a great day.